Okay.
And you still don't know what you're doing.
No, right.
All right, we're live.
Okay. Thank you all for coming. This is the planning board of Webster, New Hampshire. Today is February 16th, 2023. We'll start by taking attendance. We'll go around the table.
Adam
I can't hear you.
Paul King.
Marlo Herrick.
Craig Fournier.
Susan Youngs.
Teresa Fenimore.
And Russell Tetra.
Okay. So we have a quorum here tonight. Teresa will be here to join in any discussions that we have. Welcome your opinion. When it comes to voting, just the permanent members will vote.
Absolutely.
I guess we'll start with item number 4, preliminary conceptual consulting for Irvin Gordon regarding the new driveway at 101 Lake Road.
Thank you very much. I'm aware that you folks have other business tonight on your agenda, so I will try to be brief. My name is Irvin Gordon. I live at 101 Lake Road in Webster. I'm retired. I'm 78 years old next week. Don't like to admit that, but the time is passing. I'm here tonight because your planning board regulations very wisely provide that someone who is making an application for an approval of one sort or another can ask for a sort of a preliminary discussion with the board. And I'm sure
Exactly.
you're all aware of that, but I wanted to make sure that I was walking that. I'm sorry I don't have as many.
That's okay,
for
we
all
can
of you,
share.
but you can correct-
Oh,
correct
thanks.
it. But-
Yes, yes.
And you're familiar with that, so that's probably completely unnecessary. But I did want to stress that I'm not here making a request for any action or decision. This is
Okay.
simply informational, and certainly if you have questions, I'd be happy to answer those.
Okay.
I was born and raised in a town outside of Keene, New Hampshire, which is about like Webster in terms of size, so I feel a real affinity for this town. And in 1996, I had the opportunity to purchase one of the cottages on the west side. I think they're called the Austin Camps, Austin Cottages. And for 15 years, really loved being on this, and my wife. My wife passed away in 2010, and I sold the cottage. You're familiar probably with the Austin cottages on the west side of the lake. And I continued working for the next 10 years and was devoted pretty much to my practice, and then retired. And I learned in 2020 through an old acquaintance on the lake that there was a property that was available. It's the Gove property at 101 Lake Road. You may be familiar with it. And I was remarried in 2019, and with the permission of my wife, we purchased this cottage, which some of you may be familiar with. That's a photo of it on Lake Road, and it's located about halfway between, I think is it Skudak Road all the way around? Is it, because it changes, it's White Plains Road at one point, Skudak, but if you take a left down onto Lake Road, when you're coming from Blackwater Dam, you're on Lake Road, and this cottage is about halfway on that road to where Lake Road rejoins Skudak Road.
Yep.
So if that gives you, and it's not far from here, and after this, if any of you have any curiosity about the site, I'd encourage you to drive by, and you'll see what I'm addressing here. So that's a recent picture of the cottage. By way of sort of further identification of the cottage, this may help again to,
You know,
yeah,
It's on the corner, right?
well,
Kind of the
almost
corner.
right past, yeah.
Yeah.
That's my mom's.
and,
My mom's is like,
so
like 3 cottages over, yeah.
this is one that probably many of you are familiar with, but what I've done on this little document is
Which way are we
I've
going?
marked in yellow, is yellow on all of them? Yeah. I marked on yellow
Like,
the
Marlo has to do
location
this.
of our
Oh,
cottage.
that's okay.
Yep, okay.
So
yep.
if you look at this
my
way,
picture.
Blackwater Dam is to your right,
Right.
and to the left would be the north end of the lake, where the road rejoins the Skudak Road. So we're just about in the middle of that lake road.
Okay.
Now, this little map is of some importance here, and I want to stress a couple of things. Our cottage is marked in yellow on the one I've given you, and if you move toward the Blackwater Dam side, there are, this is a town map, this isn't something I've created, obviously. There are 11 cottages before you start going up the steep hill, and there's a road called Rolfe Road that goes in,
Yeah.
which isn't right along the lake. So these are the cottages on the lake up to Rolfe Road.
Right.
There are 11 of them. And by my count, and I've done this count a couple of times, of the 11, every one of these has either a horseshoe driveway, where you come in one side, drive out the other, or a driveway which extends down to the lake so that a turnaround has been built at that end. And if you look at our cottage, you see that it's very shallow, so the possibility to drive down and do a turnaround is not there. And you can tell a little bit from the photo how close it is. I took this photo right from the road, and you get a sense of it here also. In fact, this cottage that we purchased from Goes is the only cottage in this stretch that doesn't have any driveway. There's no driveway. And what apparently the Goves did, as I can, the best I could tell, is they just parked on the road there, sort of parallel to the house. And I know that because on the lawn, there are 3 subterranean septic vessels, which you cannot park on. This is the cottage where the septic is collected and then it's pumped under the road, and there's a leach field over the hill. So the 3 of those, and then on the other side, there's a well and a propane tank. And I doubt very much that they could have put a car on either side, and I'll show you, if you look at the yellow one, where you see the .47 AC, you see where it says .47 AC? Where you see that print, that's right where the cottage sits, just about there. And to the right, if you're looking at the diagram, is the propane tank and the well, and to the left are the 3, I guess one is a septic tank, and one must be some kind of a processing tank. There are 3 of them in a row, but you can't drive a car on top of them. And so there was no driveway. So we are obviously needing a driveway. It's very difficult. My wife is in her mid-70s, and it's quite a hike in the summer, and it's even worse in the winter to walk from the road, and it's dangerous to leave the car, of course, on the side of the road in the snowbank. I mean, it's a very, very difficult situation now. So some time ago, late last fall, we hired a landscape architect, and we spoke with a contractor, and she came up with a proposed solution to the problem here. And the contractor said that this is all quite buildable, and the architect said she thought it was all 4 square. And we are prepared to proceed with an application to get approval. But as I read the regulations, there are certainly some literal provisions in your driveway regulations, which of course the board can waive. As you know, you have the right, in the interest of safety, to make changes or waive conditions. But with all things considered, this landscape architect and the contractor said the sensible thing to do with this is to do this, what I call horseshoe driveway, which is like 3 or 4 of the others on that stretch, where you have a narrow 12-foot driveway in a horseshoe shape. So you come in, there's no parking, there's no turnaround in the driveway. You come in and you go out. And one of the things, and I would encourage you after this, if you have a doubt about this, to drive by, is that this horseshoe shape and the driveways that the other folks have on this stretch permit you to drive out looking to the left and the right. And on this stretch of road, which is narrow, you can see it's from the other map, it's bent there. If you are, well, you don't have to be 78 years old, but if you're driving out like this, putting the rear of your car onto that road, I can tell you it is a serious problem because you've got to be looking this way and this way, and if somebody comes zipping around this bend, but it's a whole lot different if you're just driving. And I'm very sure that that's why these other driveways are that way, is that people said this is crazy to be driving out backwards. So I'm going to not dwell a whole lot on this. I'm happy to take any questions. The cottage next to ours, if you move toward the Blackwater Dam on the map, is the Emily cottage, Warren Emily. And he has a horseshoe driveway. And if you look at this scheme that the architect has done for us, this is virtually duplicates his. In other words, it's just a little horseshoe comes around, and I would encourage you to drive by. Now, one of the things that we'd like very much to do, if you look at the photo, the cottage is very naked to the road. When you drive by, someone can look in and see if you're, eating dinner, or reading a book, or going to the bathroom, or taking a shower, or whatever, and we'd like to get some screening, and this plot would permit us to put some landscaping in the U part of the horseshoe, and that's very much what Mr. Emily has done with his. It improves the appearance of the cottage and the road a great deal, rather than have just this naked spot, in our
Okay,
opinion.
I think,
Go
I
ahead.
think we understand. Do we have any questions
Yep,
about this?
Thank you.
Sure.
You mentioned the sewer, you have 3 containers, you
Yes,
assume holding
yeah,
tanks,
yeah,
processing tank,
yeah.
what have you, and it goes under the road?
Yes.
Whereabouts on the map does it
Okay,
go
that's a
under
very,
the
thank you
road?
for that, it's a very good question. If you look at this one here, you have that one in front of you? Look on the left-hand side, she has noted 2 of those. So there's a little rectangle that says lawn,
Tank or something.
you see that? It's in very small print.
House over here uses it.
Pump chamber.
But it's a
Oh,
tank
right.
there.
Yeah, see, it says lawn. I don't know why it is on the lawn, but there are 2 rectangles there. One says 500-gallon pump chamber, see septic
Go in
plan.
right here,
And right next
straight
to it,
in.
there's another one.
You can't have a
Okay,
horseshoe.
see?
Okay.
And what happens is there's an underground pipe that goes under Lake Road, and then there's an elevated leach field on the other side of the road.
Excuse me, hey, guys.
Now, the reason I say
Wait,
3 is that
and
these,
you
she's
think-
drawn 2 rectangles
Have your
here.
discussion.
If you actually go there, you'll see 3 big discs. They're round. There's one, then another, and I'm not enough of a plumber to know, but I think the raw sewage goes into the first one, and there's some kind of processing or separation. I think the point is that when you are pumping it up to the leach field, you're basically pumping water at that point. And I know that the tank has to be cleaned once a year, so it's a sedimentation process. But it would be inconceivable that anyone would want to put a driveway or drive a car on top of those 3.
Well, that was my concern.
Yeah, 3 big discs, yeah.
To make sure the driver wouldn't.
Yeah, I make the point that we're sort of blocked, and on the other side, it's not shown on here, but on the right-hand side of that sketch, if you see the word lawn, she's written just L-A-W-N there, that's, just above that is the propane tank, and just below it is the well.
There you go.
So we're sort of hemmed into this center area. We've got propane and water on one side, and the septic on the other.
They're both close to
Okay.
the road.
Yes, yeah. and so-
Are there, you guys want to
Okay.
have some discussion, you want to have a comment? No?
So we are not applying for an approval tonight, of course, we're just trying to
Yeah,
alert you and
Trying to
let you know.
figure out.
Yeah, sure, to give you,
What you gonna do?
and I would encourage, I'm sorry to interrupt, I would encourage anybody to drive by, and you'll see rather quickly what the problem is.
Yeah, I
And
think we understand the
yeah,
problem.
okay, thank you.
I can't say for sure, but I'm gonna guess that most of this properties on this street are grandfathered. That's
I don't
what
know
we
that,
have.
I don't know that.
No, I
Yeah,
can't-
yeah,
without
I
looking
certainly
up-
can't, I certainly can't dispute that, you know.
Without looking up
Yep.
every single one
Yep.
of these, I can't say
Yep.
for sure.
Yep.
They were probably the horseshoes were probably put in before.
That would depend when you adopted the,
Yeah.
yeah, and I don't know that. I'm not suggesting that those are illegal or anything, they're there, and they may all be grandfathered.
Yeah, but we have to go by whatever rules that are enforced today.
Yeah, I understand, I
Yeah.
understand.
So basically, the rules we are today say you have to have 500 feet of frontage to get 2 driveways, 2
Yeah,
road
yeah,
paths.
and nobody there, I think it shows on that one
I
map.
understand, nobody
Yeah.
had.
No, nobody has close to,
No.
No.
I think the maximum is like 80 feet or
Yeah.
90 feet or
Yeah.
something,
Right.
yeah, it's,
Yeah,
you know.
But at the same
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
one driveway would require 250 feet.
That's correct.
But you don't have 250
That's good,
feet,
yeah.
and there's no way we can say you can't have a driveway
Yeah.
there. But
Well-
it can be a single driveway, but it cannot be a horseshoe.
Well, that's your discretion. I mean, your provisions in the ordinance say that for safety, you can approve any kind of driveway, basically. It's in your discretion. And all of these others, of course, would never, I'm not taking on any of these others. They're there, and I'm not looking to make a fight with any of my neighbors, but none of them would comply literally with your.
Do you have any comment? Yeah.
It would, if you just came in, like on your left-hand side.
Right.
That, where you got your car parked in front of the
Right.
house, if you came a little further toward the other car and then back, in this area here,
Well,
make that like a hammerhead right there.
Yeah,
so
we
you can
tried
back
that
up
with
and-
the contractors who suggested that, so.
Yeah.
And the problem with that is that, this is a 12-foot wide, which is, only like, it's basically one car
Yeah.
width. And
Make it a little wider.
to make it,
though.
yeah, well, that's the problem, but you're dealing with such limited space there,
Well-
that, to use your expression, a hammerhead, which is a good expression, which is what some of these other cottages has, he said he can't do that there so that you could turn. You cannot turn a car in there. There's just not space with the
How
water.
how far is this right here from that boundary line? Is,
She has a scale in the lower left-hand corner. I know the print in this is very small, but if you can apply that scale, you might get some sense from what dimension is you're looking there. And you see, if you did that,
looks like you got about 30 feet maybe to the boundary line, roughly, a little more than that.
this is the boundary line on the...
From where you are here to here, looks like you got at least 30 feet across there.
Okay.
Right from here.
Oh,
to
yes,
here.
right, yeah.
Okay.
That's where
So,
they...
so how come you couldn't make this a little bit wider? And I'm gonna draw in your picture.
Sure.
Wreck your day here, but
Yeah.
it's like something like this, come across,
Yeah, yeah,
this here. You still get your greenery,
yeah,
a
understand.
little bit of greenery over
Yeah.
here, and
Trust me, we suggested that, and we're right in the gas tank and the well, right on the well.
so where's the well in this?
If you look at the drawing, she has not put it in there, but if you see the word lawn on the right-hand side, she's written L-A-W-N.
Yeah, I got that
okay?
over here,
Okay.
but we're not on the
Right,
right,
right.
we're on the left. I see lawn over here on the left.
Yeah, this lawn,
Yep,
okay, we're upside, get it upside down, I guess, okay.
no, that's
Okay,
the
look at
way
it
the
this
road
way, yeah, okay,
goes,
this is the way the
your
road goes,
house
okay.
is.
So here, this is the word lawn, I was just referring to.
Yeah.
This is where the well and the gas tank are, right here. And so he said he wouldn't be able to do, you wouldn't be able to turn around. You know, so you're stuck with backing out, that's the problem. And, you know, you folks make the decision, all we're saying is that we'd like to be as safe as we can, and that's one of the overall provisions in there. And I would suggest, you know, I don't wanna get into the grandfathering issue, because there probably is no issue there, but the cottage right next to ours, the Emily Cottage, I think has been very tastefully done. I mean, if you wanted to get into the aesthetics of it, he's got it very nicely covered with the green there. It's a very narrow driveway. You could never put more than one car. It's probably no wider than this space here. You go in and out.
I think we understand the
Okay,
issue.
fine,
I think
thank you.
I understand the
Yep,
issue
okay,
here.
okay.
Is there any other comments?
Thank you for your time and your
Yeah,
attention.
sure. Thank you
And
for-
I would encourage anyone to, you know, it's not far from here, and you'll see the dilemma. And I tell you, this time of year with the snowbanks, it's a real problem, because
Yeah,
just
I'm sure you're tired of it.
parking beside the road, you know, and walking 50, 70 feet down to the cottage with groceries or whatever, it's a real challenge, so.
Would
to
you
thank-
consider backing in?
I'm sorry?
Would you consider backing in the driveway?
Well, I mean, back down so that, I suppose it's awkward, and I don't think anyone does it. I mean, back in from the
I
road
do,
on a
my big
single,
truck.
yeah.
My big
Because
truck
then you'd
doesn't
be,
turn.
then
Yeah,
you'd
yeah.
be,
Then you'd be pointed out, that's
Yeah,
correct, yeah.
you'd be pointed out,
You,
that's
that
right.
probably that's
Yeah.
physically possible, yeah, awkward,
Just a
but, you know, yeah,
suggestion.
it would be safer, yeah. Because coming out, looking left and right on that
Right.
narrow stretch is the
well,
main
and the only
concern.
thing I would say about backing in is you gotta stop, you might hold up traffic.
Well,
I mean,
yeah, it's-
backing in, coming out, to me, it, both
Well, I-
hazards, having big trucks and doing
Yeah,
that, it's not easy, so, I mean,
Destroy.
There is another provision in your regulations, which I think has some relevance here, and I appreciate your time, and I will, is that the access of a cottage to emergency vehicles is one of the considerations that you are, I won't say you're charged with considering, but something you are to keep in mind. And getting an ambulance or fire truck or something in is,
Is there any more comments from
Do
the
you and
board?
Emmett not wanna, you just, because of the rules, or?
yes, that was a question that I would have
Because of
to
the
add.
rules, rules that are enforced today,
Yeah,
we said he cannot have a horse.
yeah.
With
Yeah.
with the rules, but we have made exceptions.
Well, we gotta be careful with exceptions, because we got a lot of people, a lot of places in town that have less than 500 feet, and they're already want another driveway, and they can't do it. So we have to watch what we're doing.
True, but I think that's why, you know, there's rules for certain reasons and there's exceptions for certain reasons.
your regulations provide, this would be my last comment, I appreciate your patience. There may be circumstances in which reasonable vehicular access cannot be obtained while fully complying with these regulations. in such circumstances, the planning board has the authority to waive the requirements herein to the extent required to allow reasonable vehicular access. And that's the provision that we would hope you would take into account here.
Thank you.
So we will be proceeding to submit the application, but I wanted to give you the benefit of some of the background here before you get that. Thank you very much for your time.
Very, very much
Appreciate it.
appreciated, thank you.
Any other comments? Adam?
No, I guess, well, depending upon the well, and it's like he's, can't really do too much of a turnaround, hammering
Yeah,
it there.
and it looks like it's pretty well thought out, too.
Just, again, I don't wanna take up too much time. On that, side where I point out the well and the gas, I also would be concerned about, I'm not sure what the setback requirement is there, but that is the line with my neighbor right there. It goes right down
Yeah, we got this.
this side here.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that with the well and the gas, they could even put anything in there without being in here. I
So
think it's 10 or
so
15
this is not where the well is now, right?
No,
Is
the
it
well
not?
is down here.
Right here?
Yeah, and the gas is down there.
Right
They're
there,
both
the
in
gas
in the
is
ground.
not.
All right, if there are no more comments,
Okay.
we're gonna move on.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Public hearing in case 2201, minor subdivision application submitted by SPE number 228 LLC, 84 Battle Street. They propose to subdivide lot 5-13 into two lots. One 2 acres and the other 3.42 acres. Have everybody taken a look at this?
Yes.
Do you have are you the surveyor?
Yes, yep.
Do you want to address any concerns or any,
Explain it to you?
explain it?
Sure. Can I drag your easel over?
Sure.
All right, for the record, my name is Jacques Belanger. I'm the surveyor that's helping put this application together. And what we're doing is just taking that one lot, lot 13, and breaking it up in two residential lots. We've got the river down below us over here. We've got a couple of spots of wetland that we've had delineated and mapped. And basically breaking the farmhouse and barn off of the property, creating a 2.79 acre lot and a 2.64 acre tract of land. We're showing a well location, 4K area. We've made an application to New Hampshire Subservice to get a subdivision approval on that because they're under 5 acre lots. And also a driveway application's been filed with, is it District 5 over here? I'm not even sure. With the state, the DOT, for their curb cut. So that application's in place as well. I think
Did
you also.
did they give you an idea when they make a decision about your?
When they'd answer you. Because there might have been a little problem up the road, so, when they would actually answer you to what you can do.
It's been in a couple, 3 weeks. What do you mean up the road?
Well, I'm just saying, I think somebody else has tried to put one in and they didn't get back to them.
Denied.
That's just what we're told, I
This
mean.
one?
Oh,
No,
no.
yeah.
That's why I said up
A
the
different
road,
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
I believe we've got that covered between the age of the tract and the frontage requirements. I think we should be in good shape on that.
Did you say a third driveway?
No, just a second.
Okay,
There's an existing one for the
Yep.
home, and there'd be a new curb cut for the new lot down here. And what we're proposing, I don't think it shows up on this one, this is a lot of stuff going on. The sheet without the topo and stuff,
Yeah.
proposing it down on be the northerly side of the lot, coming in the field on that side. There's a break in the stone wall already.
That's where my right of way is,
Your
right where the
driveway,
break in the stone wall is.
down this way?
No. Yeah, down to the river. I
Yeah.
have a right of way down to the river where the stone wall is broken.
There is a 6-foot wide right of way, an access easement.
Where are you putting the driveway?
There's a break in the wall over here by the utility pole.
So you're putting the driveway where my,
I think your easement calls for along the stone wall.
okay.
And we can look into that, I might have to
Yeah,
deal
if
with
you
it.
say so, I don't care.
either way, we're not gonna, they can't interfere with your easement.
Right, okay. So you're breaking this into 2 lots?
Correct.
Well, that's a surprise.
This is the abutter across the street.
Okay. And what's this gonna be, the new house?
No, that's just an area that's suitable for a septic system.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't necessarily have to go there, we just have to provide an area that's suitable.
What's the garage for that house?
The one across the street?
Yeah.
Over here. This is the house, this is the barn.
Yeah,
This-
I tried to buy that back, because it was originally, it's on my land, but I guess not. Okay, well, I'm surprised, I had no idea the last time I talked to somebody, I had no idea that they were breaking up that. But I can't do anything about it, so, okay.
The only thing I would comment on, the driveway regulations require that you have a ±5% grade coming into the highway.
Mhm.
So you're gonna have to put in quite a bit of fill in there.
Yeah, yeah.
To get that,
'Cause, yeah, it's steep there.
yeah.
It
it's
is
very
steep, it drops off pretty good.
Yeah.
We're out of the steep slopes that I think you take out of your building, pocket your building areas, I think we're fine that way. But it is steep coming off the road, so we
Yeah.
require a driveway to be built in there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so in addition to a state permit for
Mhm.
road cut, you're gonna need a town.
I can't hear you.
Oh, we're talking about the state driveway permits and
Oh,
the
okay.
responsibility to build a decent driveway.
And are you counting as a driveway for the existing house next to it?
That stays there, yeah.
Because they never had one.
Well, it's a dirt, yeah.
Yeah,
Dirt
now
pulling.
what?
Did the people who bought the land also buy the
Garage?
garage?
Yes, it was included in the transaction,
Yeah.
yeah. And that's pretty much just that
Not the town did,
garage.
no?
Yeah.
They did
No.
not. Huh.
It was a
What
separate.
is the frontage of each lot?
The lot to the north, I'm sorry, yeah, I guess it's north, is 328 feet. The southerly lot with the existing barn is 327.9. So it's about, almost balanced, yeah.
So you
So,
got more than 200.
Oh, yes, yeah.
I was just gonna say that you're gonna need a state permit in addition to
The
the
local.
town permit.
Okay.
Yeah, local.
Yeah, I didn't realize the town, I think they made the application, the owner may have made the application for a town driveway permit as well.
Did they-
You also may want to be advised that the town will not allow it until the state gets approved.
Correct, yeah, yeah, the state's kind of, yeah, we had it turned down at Dunbar. We lost a lot because of that.
You got what?
Oh, another project I had, the
Now,
state,
is there shoreline protection with a river there? Is there any sort of setbacks from that sort of stuff?
Well, I think it's 50 feet from the.
That's all it is?
Yeah.
Well, in our regs, the state is 250 feet is the protected shoreline,
250,
250.
that's what I thought.
so anything that happens within that, we'll have to have an application, a permit to cover that as well.
Yeah.
When the time comes to develop the lot. But the further away you get.
Will
the
they
easier
give it to you?
Yeah,
They'll be all right.
should be, yeah.
Careful what you say.
Can't
Gary.
guarantee anything.
They've been
right, yeah.
difficult about driveway cuts on 127.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we were trying to say, so just make sure you,
Yeah, we'll make sure we get that, I mean, we can't get our final plan until we have those permits in
no,
place anyway.
but yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes.
Yeah.
We
Because
should-
even, I think they've even given us a hard time. Oh, the
The
state,
town.
the town,
Oh,
not the
yeah,
state,
yeah.
the
Yeah.
fire department
And
and
they take
stuff.
it kind of personal, yeah.
Yeah.
Any other comments, questions?
The only, the driveway itself, how far from the boundary line is it?
Right now, this is a 40 scale plan, so we're probably 50, 60 feet off that northerly line.
Plenty.
Yeah, that's gotta be a minimum of 10.
Okay, so we exceed that. And again, up this sideline here, there's an access easement, I believe it was 6 feet wide, for the abutter to access down to the river.
Okay. And all that information that we just gave you is in the driveway application.
Yep, yep. I'll follow through with that and check, make sure. I think the owner said they wanted to handle it themselves, so.
So just today, if I'm clarifying, you're just, we're gonna subdivide this, so you want approval for the subdivision, right?
Correct. I don't think we need anything else from the
Yeah,
planning board.
that's all we're doing today.
Yeah, but
So-
we'll have these other items as conditions, the
Yeah,
state
yeah, we
approval.
just wanted to
Yep.
get a big picture
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
But what we'll do is, if we approve this, we'll go out and, you haven't set the boundaries yet?
Not yet, no.
Oh, okay.
We really-
So if you get approval tonight, set the boundaries, and then we'll go out and look at the boundaries, and then approve that, and the Mylars, they get sent to.
Okay.
this-
Yeah,
the
Merrimack County, yeah,
Merrimack.
yeah. Yeah, we only have two bounds to set, just for this
Yeah.
division line between.
Yeah, and the one by the road needs to be a concrete monument.
Granite.
Granite, yeah.
Any other questions, comments?
Have you heard from DES yet?
I did get bounced back today. I didn't label what kind of wetlands it were, so,
I
I gotta
actually-
add that.
I talked to the guy who did the wetland surveying.
Oh, Tim,
Tim.
Yeah.
And he said it was done in December when there wasn't snow on the ground, and he was fairly confident about that stuff. I mean, he looked at vegetation, he did 2 soil pits, if you can see there's.
Yeah, that's in the,
In the thing here, and, I mean, all of this looks pretty good, pretty well thought out, I think. This is my personal opinion. Any other comments?
Not for the subdivision, I think that's good. As far as the well goes and the not runoff from 127, they're not worried about the additional road salt at all.
well, right now.
Just as a side note.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Right now, they have a dug well here that they've got,
Yes.
I believe
I
that,
see that.
I believe they're, considering a new well, because they gotta do a new
Okay.
septic system for this house and do a drilled well.
So,
I think I
if
saw that.
may, their intention is to sell the house and the barn, right? And
I
then,
believe so, but I don't know.
build themselves a, this is what the wetlands guy told me. Which I don't,
Really spilling the info.
yeah, right?
Give it up pretty easy.
Got you
And
right
then they were
on.
gonna build their own house down on the left there.
That's what they indicated to me, but, plans change, I don't know.
No, I
Yeah.
know that.
That's what I was told, the guy that owns this was gonna build his own home here eventually. The house is really cool. I was able to go into it, and they've got it stripped down to the framework and stuff, and really neat stuff,
Okay.
yeah.
And they didn't tear it down.
I noticed you're putting your windows and doors in.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's really, the frame is really, seems pretty tight and pretty cool, to see the beam and everything.
So, do we have a motion?
We need public comment.
Oh, public comment. Yes.
I have, Mary Jo McGowan, Love Sanborn Hill. I just have a question about the lot itself. Isn't the total lot is 5-something acres, 5 3/4 acres, is that correct?
Oh, altogether, something like that, 5
Yeah.
5.5, a little over 5.5.
So I guess my question is, we now have 5 acre zoning, so how can you take a 5 acre lot that, they weren't 2 smaller lots that were grandfathered in when we went to 5 acre zoning, this was a 5 acre lot, so so it seems contrary to the zoning, or to the zoning, to be able to subdivide that lot at all.
But undeveloped.
I asked Russ
Yeah,
that.
It's undeveloped.
It's a pre-qualifying lot. So it existed prior to 5 acre zoning. I'll have to pull up the subdivision regulation.
Yeah, maybe you could read that out.
Yeah, that would,
So, make sure this is the right one. So all lots in the residential agricultural district zone shall be at least 5 acres in size, provided however, that lots of record within the district as of the effective date of this amendment that are in size equal to or greater than 4 acres but less than 10 acres and satisfy all other requirements of this ordinance, the town subdivision regulations, and all other town ordinances and regulations herein, qualifying lots shall be permitted to be subdivided one into total 2 lots, each of a minimum size of 2 acres. No further subdivision of qualifying lots shall be permitted after that. So that's what this
over 4.
was. Yeah.
very,
Yeah, that was my question. When I first read it, I thought, wait, how can you subdivide?
yeah,
So I asked Russ.
thanks.
Me too.
I didn't understand it either.
I guess I'll make a motion to approve the subdivision.
I second it.
Was there any other comment?
Any other comments?
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right, let's take a vote on the amendment. All in favor, raise your hand.
Are we gonna do any conditions?
Oh, of probably the driveway.
Driveway.
Yeah, in the state.
State permits
Yeah,
and monuments.
right, granted.
Yes, granted.
Don't mess that up, he did.
Well, thank you for coming by.
Well, thank you for having us. And, did you want a copy of this? This is the letter just saying we submitted to the state.
Yeah, I'll take a copy.
I was impressed.
Great, well, thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, Scott.
We'll see ya.
Maybe not like the idea of it being subdivided, but I think we can,
Well, there's a couple
Stand in the way
things,
of it.
there's a couple things, it could have been torn down,
yeah.
you know, the tax base is there, and they're fixing up and.
It's-
Yeah.
if the
I mean, I don't know
house-
if I'm allowed to talk about it, but I think that's a good thing, and they wanna put a house next to it, so it's not like you're getting an 8-lot subdivision or something coming in front of you, so.
More taxes.
Yeah, like that, well, that's what it is. That's my select board hack, cause I hear that, that's why we put it back out to bid, to get it, to put it back on the tax base. They doing that times two.
Can't hay the field, so they might just well put a house.
Right, right.
Mr. Chairman, can I make just one quick comment? I was listening and the question of state approval came up, and I realize it's certainly not controlling on you folks, but we did submit our plan in December to the DES and they had approved it. Now, I realize that doesn't control you folks.
Okay.
We're trying to
Well, it's
dot
good to
the,
know, though.
we're trying to dot the i's, across the t's and go, you
No, I
know,
appreciate-
go by the book.
I
Yeah.
appreciate you're doing a good job
Yeah.
of,
Yeah.
of doing
Presenting
that.
it, yeah.
Show 'em.
Yeah. But I recognize it's a different ruling there,
Right.
but,
All right.
But that is a question when we approve driveways.
I'm gonna go look at it, yeah.
Okay. Item 5, junkyard ordinance discussion.
Oh, boy.
Here we
I'd
go.
I'd like to take a vote on this tonight, and I hope all of you have done your homework on this one.
You wanna look at this?
Can I ask a couple questions?
Yeah.
No, of course not.
I'm sorry.
You know, isn't that a loaded question when somebody asks you, no, shut up, it's over there. No, so, as I read through this, some of my concerns, and I'm sure there's, well, I don't know, I'm not gonna speak for anybody else, but I always get a little bit concerned, and granted, I still feel passionate that this is somewhat needed somehow, somewhere, okay? Just because we don't wanna end up with the, what do you call it, the base of the, if something ever happened, having to pay for legal fees. With that being said, looking through all this, and I know we've kind of mirrored other things, but can we adjust it in the sense of like, you know, they go and they apply for their junkyard, right? And then I read in here, they wanna have a public hearing. If you're applying for a junkyard and you're meeting the rules that are stated here, and I'm not trying to take it away from the public, I'm just trying to not make it that I'm trying to make it that if they're following the rules of the state, which is what our intention is, correct? Why do we have to have a public hearing?
Because they said.
Oh, because state law
it's
says.
state
Oh, they
law.
say that, okay,
State
so I
law
missed
says
that.
state law.
I was trying to, you see where I'm stepping,
Yeah.
right?
Right, you
Yeah.
just wanna be able to
Let-
go
let-
do your thing without having somebody have a problem with
Let
it.
me read a few things here, because the state defines what a junkyard is, and there's all kinds of definitions in here of what a machinery junkyard, but they're basically talking about commercial operations. And it says, a person shall not operate, establish, or maintain a junkyard or machinery junkyard until he has obtained a license to operate the junkyard business, and 2, has obtained a certificate of approval for the location of the junkyard. The application for the license and certificate of approved location shall be made in writing to the local governing board of the municipality where it is proposed to locate the junkyard or automotive recycling yard. In municipalities having a zoning ordinance and a zoning board of adjustment, the application must be accompanied by a certificate from the Board of Adjustment that the proposed location is not within the established district restricted against such uses or otherwise contrary to prohibition of zoning ordinance. The application shall include a description of the land and a certificate of compliance with best management practices. So that's where and then they don't really, the state doesn't really want to get into the business of licensing. So they leave it to the towns, okay? That's sort of where we're at here. And it says, at the time and place set for a hearing, the local governing board shall hear the applicant and all other persons wishing to be heard on the application for a license to operate, establish, or maintain the junkyard. In passing upon the application, it shall take into account the suitability of the applicant with references to his ability to comply with the fencing requirements or other reasonable regulations concerning the proposed junkyard or automotive recycling yard, and to any record of convictions for any type of larceny or receiving stolen goods or other matters. So basically, they want the town to establish health and reasonable fencing requirements.
What's reasonable? That's what scares me. That scares the crap out of me, but that's all right.
Well, this is an attempt to.
Right, no, I get what you're
This is an
saying,
attempt to-
yeah?
So, any other comments?
I was just thinking it's gonna be a hard sell, but they need, to have a townwide vote. We really?
No, we
Oh, I
don't.
thought you said we did.
No, we don't.
Oh, okay. Good
The
answer.
select board.
Select board has to.
Oh, okay, but it's still the, okay.
And I think-
You only have to satisfy 2 out of 3.
Yeah. I mean.
Yeah, right.
The,
Dear.
the thing I wanna say is, everything in here is directly out of the state law,
Right.
state regulations. So
Yeah.
even though we don't maybe
It really
like
makes
it,
sense, yeah,
it's,
To start.
yeah.
yeah, it is what the law is.
Right. I just, defining reasonable is what makes me nervous. You know, reasonable and, you know, I don't mind, I think that the town, just like even when we do make a decision on the select board, one thing that I wish we could do more of is stuff, have the whole town make the decision. I don't wanna, we don't wanna be the people at the, you know, we're a town, we're a community. But that's what makes you a little bit nervous with some of this stuff, because there is long, and I know people will be grandfathered and such, but, and quite frankly, even kind of some of the, you know, like for me, even talking about some of the driveway permitting, you know, what was the cause of that? Why can't you have two, why can't you have a U-shaped driveway? Do you see what I'm saying? Well, somebody came up with a reason, I'm sure there's probably a good reason behind it, but it might not be something everybody agrees with, right? So that's what makes me a little nervous about reasonable, and I don't know how you define that better. And that's why, yeah, I'm done.
No, you did good.
Do you, Paula?
No, I'm okay with what we gotta do.
Yeah, I mean, this regulation was taken right from another town, and we changed a few things here and there. But it's not, this is not out of right field here.
Well, and the thing is, like I said last time, I don't think any of us is planning to drive around town and
No.
try to find things
Correct.
that we think don't fit.
And you're right,
Correct.
and you know what, right now, we're very fortunate, I think, maybe I'm wrong, maybe the public would disagree, that we're all kind of in this to keep our town rural, and we wanna have people to have rights to their property, live free or die, right? Which seems to get thrown out a lot of times, and so that's the only thing that makes me, I don't know about you guys, but I might not be here forever, and you may not be here forever, and you might, you see what I'm saying? That.
The next bunch could be different.
Right, and which I think this town's witnessed some of the different opinions of things.
Absolutely.
And so that's what makes me a little bit
Nervous.
nervous, but with that being said, I understand, I feel like I understand why we gotta do something. I just didn't know if we could, I know these are the state rules, but so
For a
if we
reason.
don't have a rule, can we be a little bit more, what?
Flexible.
Flexible? Is there a way to write that in a little bit more?
There is that reasonable, in this situation, you could state reasonable to the height of the inventory on the property.
like throw some extra verbiage in it, and what you're saying, so to make it so that it's not, it leaves a little bit more room for discussion?
Right. Somebody has inventory of, a couple vehicles. So a fence for that, 6 or 10-foot fence, something like that would hide it. But if somebody wants to start stacking vehicles, then it wouldn't be reasonable to have a 6 or 10-foot.
Well, we're not talking about individuals here, we're talking
No,
about
that
commercial
was my comment.
operations.
That was my comment just a minute ago. It was mentioned that none of us need to drive around town.
Correct,
This is supposed to be just for junkyards, not junkie yards.
yes.
That's right.
What's reasonable about that? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, and, my worry is if we start saying, well, if it's this many cars, it has to be this feet, then we're really becoming,
Too defined.
Too defined.
yeah, then
Yeah,
it gets
I
too
mean,
picky.
Basically, and I think if you're buying and selling, if you're in it for money, you're commercial.
Yeah.
that's-
Yeah, but, so the machinery junkyards, I'm not into that. That is just, what you might think is junk is not junk to me, right? Trucks, skidders, bulldozers, bulldozer tracks, blades, buckets. No, it's all serious, cause I got it.
Yeah.
Are you selling?
And so, I mean, when you stop and look at that picture.
And I think what, too, you
And
may
then
sell
if
it
you
so it
had
goes
somebody
along, right?
walking down back on Walker Pond, they come up under the power line, all of a sudden they see my yard. You can't see it, but it's there, all right? And so I go down there and rummage through what I need from time to time, a lot, but I'm not gonna get rid of it. So how does that fall in underneath all this?
Well, what if you,
Machinery junk.
but hold on, what if, well, for example, what if my husband goes down and says, hey, Addie, I could really use that skidder tire you got there that's been there for.
Well, no, but it happens.
Yeah, that's
'cause I
right,
do
and
give
then
I-
he sells it, or,
I don't,
that's what he, I think, aren't you a little
But
worried about that,
that's
you know?
different than a business that,
You're not
whose
in-
whole purpose is buying and selling.
Eddie Mac, lumbering, farming, junk.
I mean, it's
I
like,
might have
if you
kid
went
on my
down
own
there,
does
there's
that.
6 chip trailers sitting there, so.
But they could do
class-
that,
now,
whether we have the regulation or
They could
not,
do that
that
to any
doesn't
of us, go
change.
to the
Yeah.
yard and say, I'll give you so much
I
money
just,
for that.
I mean, it's like calling a kettle black. When it gets all over and done with, really, for me. So you guys you go ahead and do your thing, but I'm gonna go a no vote on this one, and then I will feel good about what I did. And you guys can go and proceed ahead. I'm not upset, but I just don't really wanna see. I guess, it all depends out of whose eyes. That's how this all shakes. You got a whole bunch of people that don't know what a bulldozer is, or moving in from wherever, and all of a sudden, they're out on their walk with their dog and see it. What an eyesore.
All
That's
right.
what's gonna puzzle me.
I appreciate your
That's why,
point of view.
yeah.
Any other discussion? Are we ready to take a vote?
Yeah.
So, Craig's gonna look, Marlo, really?
No, that's all right. That's all right.
I probably stand a lot with Addie on a lot of this. Because, you don't walk out behind what I got, but, I think my concern is I still believe it, I got this right? If we don't do anything, if we don't put an ordinance in, okay? And let's just say when those people walk out back from Walker Pond and they say, huh, you see what Addie's got back there? Call the state and they complain,
Yeah.
okay?
We can do that right now.
Right, okay, so then what happens? Then the state goes out, looks it over, then they say, oh, well, he is kind of in violation of this statute.
The state rules,
Love RSAs. And then they come to us as the town and say, well, you don't have any ordinance, right? Okay, and then the person suing the state then makes us pay for it.
Yeah,
Well, it's not just that too, because then we end up being on the same side as the person on the junkyard.
yeah,
The
they
town
end up,
has to defend itself on
In-
why.
With
it
the
didn't
person at
enforce
the junkyard.
ordinance. That's a lot of fun, right?
No, we're kicking the sleeping dog, that's all we're doing there. Nobody thinks about it right now, but as soon as this goes in effect, guarantee it.
I don't think you're wrong.
Okay, I think we're ready to take a vote here, right?
I noticed in here that pre-existing is in here, but I really think we ought to add something about junkyards versus junkie yards. I don't see that in here.
Well, I think if you look at all the definitions, which are defined in the
it lists, yeah, it lists the state,
and that they it's referenced in this document, what the things are, you know, what constitutes a junkyard.
under definitions. It just says,
And I
look at
urge,
the state.
you know, there's the new copy of the regs. I urge you to take it home and look in here and see what they say. I mean, this is our responsibility.
I think what you did is, originally it was there, we had more of the detail, but we decided, why not just cite the
The rule, the
rule
RSA.
rather than
Well,
just
there's
copy.
another question. Do you want to send it through legal?
If it's tweaked.
I think.
I
we
mean,
should-
the select board could do that too, but,
Oh, why, because then it comes in front of us?
because
Oh.
next it goes in front of you.
And that's what I would suggest.
Well, it's up to the select.
Well,
board.
right, right.
I'm comfortable with where it's at. I mean, we just didn't go out and
make it up out of whole clue.
Oh, no.
I mean, the definition of what a junkyard is, right, I can read it.
Well, what you're saying is you took pretty much word for
What you
word.
did out of the book.
Yeah. So it's not like legal's gonna say,
Yeah.
oh, you can't say that because you didn't add anything to what is already
Right.
stated.
That
Right, right.
RSA is still, that's the RSA you took out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, the definition states that it's a dealer. You know, you're not a dealer that I
I'm
know.
not a dealer,
that I
no,
know
I'm
of.
not. But,
So,
I can read it. Here, let me read it.
no, I mean,
not a dealer.
well, go ahead. It's,
A junkyard means a place used for storing or keeping or storing and selling, trading, or otherwise transferring old or scrap copper brass, rope, rags, batteries, paper trash, rubber debris, waste of junk, dismantled or wrecked automobiles or parts thereof, iron, steel, or other scrap, ferrous and non-ferrous materials. As used in this subdivision, the term includes, but is not limited to, the following type of junkyard: automotive recycling yard, machinery junkyard, motor vehicle junkyards, used parts. So they go on and on talking about this, but again, they're talking about commercial, buying and selling.
yeah.
Can we just freeze the board and then we'll, go! Nobody can go anywhere.
All right, are we ready to take a vote? Is there any more comments? I wanna get this over.
I'm a no.
I want to get this over. with.
Yeah,
I wanna get it over with,
Yeah.
I'm done with
No,
it.
you guys have done,
yeah, good.
don't,
You-
Mrs.
You're doing
Drew.
what you should be doing.
Right.
All right.
I
I'm gonna
just
ma-
can't
I'm gonna make,
Agree with it.
I'm gonna make a motion that we accept the
Draft.
draft proposal for Webster Town Junkyard Ordinance.
I can't second.
I know.
Don't look at me.
All right, I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, raise your hand.
Only because we have to do it, that's the only reason why I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Okay,
All opposed?
three to, opposed.
You have to actually, yeah.
Okay, so 3-2.
So you're good.
The town's good.
Ah.
Personally, I don't care, you know.
I
really
know,
don't-
I get it. I do get it.
Well, and I think we care, we do care.
Yeah.
We don't want
Yeah,
that.
we're not
I
making
mean,
a-
We don't want,
I don't
uh,
know.
yeah.
I mean,
I
all
get to
my
see this
stuff
again
is
anyways.
secure.
Yeah, you do.
My yard is probably cleaner than the most of the yards around. I guarantee you that, but it all depends who's walking down back. It's-
They'd be trespassing.
Yeah,
I don't,
Well-
I think you're taking this a little out of context, but that's okay.
well,
It's
you
your
never know.
Well, unfortunately, Craig, at times we've seen that little,
Yeah,
whoop, and you go, wow, where'd that come from? We've been doing this for years. That's what we've lived through. I mean, I'm not saying that for Addie, but I'm saying that from.
I know what it's like being turned into DES. You know, for stupid shit, that's what really is
Well, right.
irritating. But somebody that really doesn't know what they're talking about, and that's their first phone call. And so, that's
Yeah, but
why
that-
I
But there's
just,
nothing in that draft that says anything about jumping. It says it, unless
We'll
it
see
says.
how it
Unless
goes.
it says, Addie Mock, let me see on page here. Addie Mock.
Well.
I just hope I'm not your first casualty.
I think you can take care of yourself.
Oh, I can. It's just like that train station.
All right,
All right.
so,
But nice job, you guys.
Yes.
Thank you. No, seriously.
okay. Approval of the draft minutes. Now, we have to approve, we didn't approve last meeting, the November minutes because there were some changes made to that as a result of John Pearson
Yeah.
complaining. And Russ was kind enough to go in there and make some changes and be specific about what was said.
Right.
And,
I highlighted those sections in the minute if you wanna see what they are. It should be in the packet.
So we need to
And I
approve.
also have a section of the transcript from YouTube if we need that as well,
Of what was.
of what was said, that you could compare it to.
I'm all good. I
okay,
read them all.
I like your authority. All right. I move we approve the November minutes of the Webster Planning Board
As corrected.
as corrected.
I second it.
All in favor, raise your hand.
Hi.
5-0.
Now
Oh,
we
I
do the
forgot to
January
say,
one.
I forgot to say, all opposed. All right, now we have the January meeting. I'm sure you've read that.
I did read that.
Every minute detail.
Oh no, here's where the grammar comes out.
Do we have the date right on this one?
That's a good question.
January 19th, yes, that was the correct date.
Oh, wow.
Because I
I've done
take
that
minutes for
before.
another board on the Tuesday, and that was the 17th. I just had to turn those in.
Well, sometimes I forget to, in the footer, I
That was
forget
a
to
real
change
one.
it
Oh,
to the
no.
correct date.
Okay.
It has
um,
happened before.
All right. Anyway, I move that we accept the meeting minutes from January 19, 2023.
Second.
All in favor, raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye. Paul? Okay, 5-0. All opposed?
It is, get out. No, I'm just
Did
kidding.
did we already approve the December minutes?
Yes,
Yeah.
November, not
Sorry.
December.
No, I mean December.
We
Yeah, we
did
did
do
that.
those, yeah.
December's already been approved.
Yeah.
Okay.
Last time, right?
Yeah.
All right, is there any other business that we have to attend to? All right. I move we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, raise your hand. Aye. Thank
Okay.
you, thank you for your patience.
Thank you. No, seriously, you guys, working
Yeah.
on that stuff.
We'll turn off the tape, because I have a question. And it has nothing to do with what we just did, so.
Oh, so be sure and get a new
Yes, a new
copy.
copy.
So that brown one's no good anymore?
Every year.
Because you already just read up on all that, didn't you?
That's the one I
I knew it.